Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 31 of Fox Ridge Philately. Just looking at the back door here off the kitchen under the back deck. And you can see we still have winter. And it's another snowy day. It's been an early start to winter for us. There's one tree, the other tree up in there now. We've had, I think we're up to 4.5 school cancellations, 4.5 days of school cancellations so far. And typically we would get one maybe before Christmas. Me being a former educator, I still pay attention to that stuff, even though I'm retired. I still take note of it. Anyway, back to the stamp. So episode 31, I'm going to continue on with the British Commonwealth material that I put in the binders, that long project I was working on. And we're up to binder number 4, I think, 4 and 5. I'll try to give you a glimpse of these. So binder 4 goes Dominica to, looks like Gold Coast, in alphabetical order. A lot of mint never hinge stamps in here, but as I said in previous episode 2, I mixed in U stamps as I found them in the glassines and have added to that, and some other bits and bobs, as the English like to say. So they are pretty well in order, but once in a while there might be something that's slightly out of order. And I put the Scott catalog number, the date of issue, and most times too, just getting caught there a little bit. Come on. Most times too, I'll put the catalog value, just to give me an idea of what I have, really. So there's Dominica. This binder's a little bit annoying. Fiji. We would like to go to Fiji someday. Some early Fiji stuff. You can see the monarchs. And then, of course, get into the Elizabethan era. Nice looking issues there. Really nice colorization. Colorization. Not sure that's the right word. And some of the more recent modern material from Fiji. Oops. Slide note here a little bit. And some of the back of the book, some postage due. And some semi-postals. Gambia, skinny little country in west coast of Africa. Oh, lots of bird stamps in here. For those of you that like your birds. You saw my birds out back there that I've been feeding. They settled down a little bit, and it was very busy at the feeders this morning with a lot of blue jays, of course. The chickadees and juncos will come first before the blue jays will come in, and as the blue jays come in, the chickadees and juncos have to take second and third place. The juncos usually just hang out on the ground anyway and wait to pick up the drop material. Actually, I like those maps and stamps there. Kind of unique. Showing the crossing of the Atlantic Ocean between Africa and South America. Yeah, blue jays, chickadees, juncos, mourning doves. Had a pair of cardinals this morning. Hairy woodpeckers. What else have I had there? Get the occasional flicker. I love seeing the northern flicker. Crows will come in, and then the squirrels. 2 for the peanuts. Run Ghana now, clearly. Staying in Western Africa. A few finches, a few goldfinches, not a lot this time of year. We get them a lot in the summer. Those are the majority of the species that I'll get here in the winter. And larger birds up in the woods behind and around. A lot of eagles, a lot of bald eagles, a lot of ravens. Crows, of course. still in Ghana. Hawks, red-tailed hawks. Once in a while I hear a barred owl. I love hearing the owls at night. I heard a redpoll up in the woods this morning where Lucy and I were out for a walk. It was actually kind of interesting stamps there to me. 25th anniversary of UNESCO. On to Ghana. Continuing. Another nice map on stamp. Lots of Ghana here. Again, just a quick flip through. You could always stop or come back on another episode and show you something if you're looking for something a little more specific or that catches your eye. But yeah, just to give you a sense of what is in here and how large the project really was. It took many hours. Glad to have it done. Gibraltar. It's really nice early Gibraltar in here. I have friends that have been to Gibraltar, and actually my partner, I think, was briefly there as well. Popped over to Morocco. I have not been to Gibraltar or Spain or Portugal yet, but there's lots on the list. Early King George. Into the Elizabeths. There's a lot of Gibraltar here. I'll have to try to go fairly quickly through the Gibraltar. It's a fairly thorough collection, really. The older gentleman who had purchased that large collection from a few years ago now, of course, had just amazing stuff and very well organized. And he certainly had a lot of Gibraltar. So you're seeing some of that now. There's a long stamp. Pages and pages of Gibraltar. More maps on stamps. As you probably know, I have a topical of maps on stamps going, as well as foxes on stamps, being Foxridge philately. Used to do horses, I don't anymore. If you ever do horses on stamps, I suggest you try to narrow it down a little bit, because there are a lot of horses on stamps. So to me, I got rid of a lot of the horse and stamp stuff, but I kept the ones that I liked, and also the ones that had more of a theme along the lines of fox hunting. So that's what my wife was passionate about. And of course, being Foxridge philately, there's that tie-in as well. Now we're on the Gilbert and Ellice Islands. Wouldn't it be nice to go to the South Pacific someday? Cruise around. And as I said before too, but friends that have traveled, and I've been fortunate to do some really nice traveling over the last few years. There's lots of places I haven't been, and I've had friends, I think of one in particular who's traveled and cruised in the South Pacific a couple of times for sure that I know of, including one this past fall. And he's a photographer as well, and his images are just outstanding. It's the Gilbert and Ellice Islands and Gold Coast, back to Africa, Western Africa. Some of the early Gold Coast there. A mix of the mint, never hinged, in with the used, and just a few postage dues. A quick flip through on that binder. This number 4, did I say? Yeah, I think. And then I'll try to be quick on this one. This is number 5. Grenada to, where are we going? Leeward Islands, I think, is the last one. Oh, nice set here. Elizabeth ones. Well designed, nice colors. Of course, you keep seeing the Churchill omnibus pop up, as well as a number of other omnibus issues of Elizabeth or George throughout here. Yeah, so it's just a quick flip of Grenada. We like the pirate ones. That'd be a fun topical. I've got a couple of other topicals on the go too, casually, right? Just if I see something that fits into a particular topical that I like, I'll set it aside. I think I've probably said before about Captain Cook, James Cook, Mutiny on the Bounty. Those types of things interest me. Antarctica. I've got quite a nice binder of Antarctica-related issues and covers in the closet there. Items such as that, or anything really to do with history, geography, those tend to be the things that I go for. Explorers. It's British Guyana, which becomes Guyana. Ooh, funny, I don't have the original of that one. I don't think too many do. Nice birds there. Nice map on stamp. Sorry, it's out of focus a bit. Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is an area, as well as other parts of that region of the world, that I don't know a lot about. I don't know a lot about anything in terms of stamps, but certainly in that area I don't know much about at all. And I really do need to educate myself a bit on that. Hong Kong stamps can be, as you can see here, fairly, relatively speaking, fairly valuable. I'm not sure the reasoning for that. I'm sure some of you could fill us in on that, or me in on that. But, you know, there's a few stamps here. I know it's catalog, take that for what it's worth, but you know, $20 for 5 used stamps. India. Zoom back out. In the region of India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, it's a part of the world that certainly I've never traveled to, and I don't know as much as I should about it historically. I know there's a tremendous amount of history there, and you could go farther west into the Persian region, Iran, Iraq, and so on. And I could say the same for that area. And I guess perhaps to me, because the history is so deep there, that, and so I think it can be quite convoluted, at least to me, and complex, that maybe that's the reason why I have shied away from it. And of course, me being of European ancestry, my interest gets drawn there. I've done genealogy and all that historical bit that I like, and I'm very English in terms of ethnicity. Newbury, my last name, is certainly an English name, and I did have my DNA done, and yeah, it came up very English with touches of Norse, which would be no surprise, Irish, Scottish, little hints of it here and there, German, the typical, stereotypical, for somebody of my background, Western European, that you would find. So, sorry, we're into Jamaica now, aren't we? Yeah, I've just been talking along here. And Kenya is next. Wouldn't it be lovely to go to Kenya? perusal. And I apologize if I'm going quickly. I try to be conscious of how long a video can be, and I'm trying to get through 2 binders at once, and this already is going to be a longer video than I typically like to have. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanganyika, which become, let's see, what, Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, that'd be part of that as well. And reminds me of Zanzibar, which would be, of course, farther along in the alphabet, but you'll see those in a forthcoming episode. Kiribati, looks like Kiribati. See it there, it's out of focus. So pronounced Kiribati. Zanzibar, sorry, getting back to that. That's another one of those places that I just find the history fascinating. So if I see Zanzibar stamps, I'll pick them up. Not much there for Kiribati. I thought I had more than that. I think I must somewhere. So this is Kuwait. So now we're heading into the Middle East, when it was a protectorate of Great Britain, the British Empire. And then post-protectorate, hope I have the right word there, Kuwaiti stamps. Leeward Islands. Oh, Lesotho would be the last one, not Leeward Islands, my bad. Nice Elizabeth stamps. And then Lesotho. This looks like Lesotho, it's Lesotho. You can see overprints here, sorry. Lesotho land becoming Lesotho, 1966 there. That nice map on stamp. More birds on stamps. I always notice the maps on stamps. A nice set here, 1975, and I don't even know what it is other than it's showing people. Okay, it says ruled. Sorry, I'm trying to read this and hold this at the same time. Sorry, the focus is not great on that. So rulers of Lesotho. I would have to study that. Yeah, nice looking set. I know one of you in particular is a birds on stamps collector, so I have been highlighting a few of those along the way. There's lots more, of course. I thought perhaps you'd enjoy those. I'm not into the Disney stuff. I know it's a popular topical for many people, but yeah, to me that's just a bit like that whole wallpaper thing. And then some postage too. So there is binder number 5, so there's 3 more to go after that. They're just up there waiting for the next episode. Wintry day here. Hope things are well where you folks are. Take good care.